Welcome back to Baseball Barbacast. Jake Mintz is traveling, but I found another Jake to talk to. It's Jake Bauers of the Milwaukee Brewers, one of the biggest breakout stars of 2026. Jake Bauers, welcome to Baseball Barbacast.
Hey, appreciate it. Thanks for having me, man. New name, new sponsor, all that. You guys have come a long way, man.
Well, hey, look, both of us, right? But both of us have had several employers since we first met in Montgomery, Alabama in 2016. Sure. But here we are, still playing ball, talking ball. How lucky are we? Jake, it has been so cool to watch your career unfold. Obviously, anyone that we meet and talk to in the minor leagues and see make it, it's like, all right, that's cool. Let's see how this goes. And for your journey in particular, I know a lot of people have become more familiar with you, but I think a good place to start, the numbers kind of speak for themselves. You can see everything that's kind of ticked up, but you just follow the trajectory of Jake Bauers, 7 different organizations, right? Since you were drafted by the Padres out of high school in 2013. I'm wondering, we can get into what has helped you get to this incredible breakout season. How nice has it just been to be in one place and really find a home with Milwaukee? How much has that really helped you unlock what you've really been able to do at the plate this season?
Yeah, that's been a huge thing for me for sure. I think ever since I got here, they've really given me the space to kind of figure out who I am, not only as a player, but a person as well. Became a father with the Milwaukee Brewers, started a family with the Milwaukee Brewers. That's all my kids have known. It's been nice. My daughter loves Milwaukee, so it's all she can talk about. But they've been super welcoming to not only me, but also the family. So to be here for a third season has been it's been a nice change for sure, as opposed to bouncing around the league a little bit.
I'm also, I was reading some of the interviews you were doing going into this season because, again, you've had some success already with the Brewers even before this season. Some homers in the postseason. You really kind of made a role with the team. But you talked about it like coming into this year with another former podcast guest, Kurt Hogue, of course, who covers the Brewers very well before the season, how like you really saw this could be a breakout for you. It sounds like you referenced what's going on with you off the field, all the positive things in your life. Was there something that you had also figured out on the field that gave you that confidence to suddenly be a top 10 hitter in baseball? Or was it trusting that the mindset would kind of lead you to that kind of success?
Yeah, I mean, I think I had enough success over the course of my career that I knew that this was not something that was unrealistic or out of the realm of possibility. Now, to this extent, I don't know that I could have foreseen it. Obviously, it's been quite the year, and it's been an adjustment to handling success, just like it is handling failure. But I think towards the end of last year, there was a moment in Pittsburgh in either late August or early September. I don't remember exactly when it was, but I was DHing because Yelly's back was kind of flaring up and he needed a couple days. And I remember going up for my first at bat. I was fresh off the IL and I struck out, bad at bat. Look up at the scoreboard. It says like $185 or something like that. And I remember being in the tunnel by myself, like, what is this? Like, what is happening? And there was a moment down there by myself where like there was a second voice that popped into my head and it's like, just get out of the way. Like, what are you doing? Just get out of the way. And so I said, you know what, my next at bat, I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just going to go see the ball. I'm going to hit the ball. Whatever happens is whatever happens, but it can't be worse than this. And I think the next at bat was an RBI single to either take the lead or tie the game. Get one more at bat in that game, same thing, line drive up the middle, base hit. And I was like, it can't be this easy. Like that can't be the answer that I've been looking for however long. Right. Carried it through September, carried it through the postseason. And I'm like, it is like, that's the answer. And so that was the number one goal coming into the year was just stay out of the way. Like, just do everything you can to keep yourself out of the way. I know that was a long-winded answer. I'm sorry.
No,
but it was a long borderline like spiritual journey to the point where it was like, dude, you just have to stay out of the way.
But it's not long-winded. It's incredibly specific because so often when we're watching, we're trying to look at the game logs and be like, okay, where is the moment where it changes? And I could have seen last year, yeah, you hadn't had much success for that a long stretch before that. You have 2 hits in all those games. You hit a home run. You carry it through there. But oftentimes you ask guys, you'd be like, "Oh, hey, was this the series?" And they're like, "I don't know." Like,
so I can definitively say that was the series because the next 2 days,
yep,
same thing. We're waiting for the lineup to come out to see if Yelly can go, and it was like both the rest of the series. It was like an hour before the game. Hey, Jake, you're DHing. Yelly can't go, and it was like 3 hits that night. Next day, same thing, another 3 hits, and I'm like, dude, like. And I remember almost being like frustrated with it where it was like, you're kidding me, right? Like, like this can't be it. Like I said, and then, no, so sure enough, ever since then, I felt like I was 12 years old again, man. Like, in a way, it just simplified the game. It made everything so much easier. And I kind of just stopped giving the big leagues so much credit for being as hard as it is, if that makes sense.
So that's a really interesting way to, now let's go back a long ways because I'm really curious about what it's like to, and you sort of referenced it, have the success. You mentioned dealing with the success more than you dealt with plenty of failure earlier in Major League career. Mm-hmm. But obviously you got there to begin with because you were really good. You hit 500 in high school, right? There was a time, even when we first met you 10 years ago, you were one of the top prospects in baseball. A lot of it because you were really young for every level. When I don't know if I've ever talked to you about this specifically, but this is a very big talking point now in the draft is like guys who are 17 when they get drafted. And you were that. You were, 17 and a half. Like you were one of the youngest players in your draft class. I bring that up because like there was a time, of course, as a prospect in high school when you were raking, you were slugging 500, you were doing all these things. Does the success that you're having now, you sort of reference like, oh, it feels like I'm 12 again. Does it feel the same way? You're, of course, much older, much more mature. You've lived this whole life and been with all these teams and now you're a father and all these things. But like, does it feel kind of the same as when you were succeeding as a prospect in high school? What are the similarities and differences there?
I think it feels a lot different now as opposed to then. I think when I was 17, there was still an element of kind of riding the highs of everything. And maybe when you're a little bit younger, a little bit more naive, you're able to kind of like stay up there. But when you get to the big leagues and there's a lot of talented players here, and you're riding a high, it's pretty easy to come crashing down. And when you come crashing down and you don't know how to get back to neutral, you're kind of going to just keep riding that until you figure out that like, this is not the way. And so a lot of this year has been trying not to ride a high as much as I've fought in the past, riding those lows and trying to get out of that rut. So I kind of realized that like that middle neutral ground is really kind of where the magic happens. And it's trying to stay there regardless of what's happening.
I mentioned how for years and years, you're the youngest player on every team at every level in the fall league and AA and high school, whatever. Listen, I'm not calling you old. I'm definitely not going to tell you that.
Fine.
Because
hey, I'll call myself old. Don't worry about it.
Hey, we're 1995 babies here, right? Like we're getting used to all the Luis Laras and Jackson Churios coming up. But how has that impacted like your role on this team? You've seen some shit, man. You know, like you maybe don't have the veteran level of Christian Yelich, but relative to this Milwaukee Brewers team, which has also been compared to like a college team, and Murph is a big part of that too. And I know you never played in college necessarily, but how has that impacted your perspective on this team, on the field, off the field?
Yeah, it's something that I think about quite a bit as almost a responsibility to the team in a way. And being so young, I think that's something that it can't fall all on Yelich's shoulders, right? Like to be the leader, to be, the captain of the team, that's a big thing. That's a lot of responsibility, and it can't just be all on his shoulders. So I've realized that I got to take some kind of initiative, and I got to learn. I got to learn maybe not how to lead, but just how to set an example, how to be there for guys when they need it, how to notice things around me. But also, I think that's something that you have to have your head above water enough in this game to be able to look around you and see the way things work, to understand what your teammates need, what the team needs as a whole, and to be able to bring that to the table. You yourself have to be in a good enough place to do that. And so it's been fun for me to feel like I'm in a good enough place to be able to look around and learn more about the way the game works, the way our organization is run, and about what the team needs as far as how we're going to win games and how am I going to help other guys get to a place where they can help us win games. So it's been super fun for me this year for sure.
So I want to bring it into some more recent news, which is less exciting, of course, that you have been dealing with. I believe shin splints is what it's been described as, and I want you to give a quick update on that, and I'll explain why I'm bringing that up as part of the success that you've been having this season. But because it's timely, just talk a little bit about what you've been dealing with and how something that is not necessarily totally new.
Yeah, no, I've been playing through it for most of the year now. It's really not like a crazy thing. Once I get going, it's fine. But just like the day to day of jogging on and off the field, BP, ground balls, the whole thing, there's been times where it flares up, and just had a bad week where the workload was high and the symptoms flared up, and, don't necessarily want to be in all of that pain for the rest of the way. But it's definitely something that I'll be pushing through for the rest of the year.
Obviously, it hasn't hampered you very much, and part of that is the numbers that you're having. I bring that up because, this became a news nugget because a lot of people, when you weren't in the lineup in New York against the right-handed pitcher, everyone said, "Oh my gosh, he's not in a lineup against a right-handed pitcher. That must mean that he's dealing with something." And I guess that turned out to be true. But I bring that up because I saw that and I was like, well, hold on a second. Jake Bauers is no platoon bat anymore. I mean, part of the reason why your numbers are which they are this season is that you've been crushing lefties. And that is something, of course, that has not been part of your success in the big leagues up until this year. What is the adjustment? Because you gave us that great answer earlier. Okay, this is where the mindset really shift, and maybe that's part of this too. But how have you been able to, I know it's not a massive sample size, but it's over 100 plate appearances. You got an OPS over 900. What has allowed you to have that success, and then, of course, earn the trust of the Brewers to play you against lefties?
Yeah, I think it's a couple things. One, getting the opportunity to do it has helped for sure. Anytime you get exposed to something, it's going to get more and more comfortable the more you see it. And then also just a simplified approach at the plate of I'm trying to see the ball, and I'm trying to be tight to it, and I'm trying to hit the inside half. Sometimes that can be more simple against a lefty. A lot of times it's a 2-pitch mix where it's fastball and some kind of spin, as opposed to a righty where you could be facing 4 or 5 different pitches. So
all kinds of directions.
Yeah. So depending on the lefty, obviously guys have sinkers. We just faced Martin Perez, who throws a lot of changeups. Scooble throws a changeup. So there are certain cases where it's not that simple, but sometimes it's going to be fastball spin, and you're really just waiting for something that you see good enough to pull the trigger on. So I really don't think it goes much deeper than that, other than trying to see the ball and hit the inside half.
Was there a moment, you keep referencing how you think about that mindset shift to be like, oh my God, was it really this easy all along? And of course, maybe it isn't that simple, but as you've been having the success, I mean, you mentioned kind of feeling that in spring training, but did you have to kind of have that prolonged success? Was there a point during this regular season where it was like, okay, not I've arrived. You've never really arrived. You're always going to have to be making those adjustments. But was there a moment this regular season where you feel like, all right, I've really gotten to a level here that I obviously hadn't as a major leaguer yet?
No, I don't necessarily think so. I think beyond the goal of kind of like I'm saying about staying neutral throughout the course of the season, something that came with that was just consistency, right? Like I feel like over the course of my career, a lot of it has been like really good for a couple weeks and then really bad for a couple weeks and really good for a couple weeks and really bad. And so I just really wanted to be as consistent as possible. And I think as this has been pretty consistent, there's been a couple rough patches that I pulled myself out of fairly quickly. Um, and so, no, I don't think there's any certain moment where something has felt different than another. I think it's really just been a day by day mentality. Um, and that's kind of what's carried me.
All right. Well, you play for the Brewers, so I'm not doing my job if I don't ask about the big tall guy throwing 105.
Sure, sure.
So I guess in your case, now that you've been there a few years, you're traded to the Brewers after 23. I assume at that point you'd never heard of this kid unless you are a prospect dork like me. I guess he had appeared in the Futures game, I believe, that season. I think it was in 23. So the world had started to be like, okay, what's this guy with the long name and really skinny, really throwing hard? Did you like face him in 2024 spring training? What was like the reveal of the Miz to you with the Brewers and then, to where we are now?
Yeah. No, the first time I saw him was spring training last year.
Okay, last year.
I think that was
so
his
before his debut,
his first big league camp. Yeah, before his
sense.
debut. I think it was his first big league camp. He was still pretty wiry, couldn't throw a lot of strikes. And I remember in my head, I'm like, man, like just tell this guy to get 3 outs. Like go have him throw 105 for an inning and make him a closer because like there's no way he's going to be able to throw strikes.
That's what a lot of people thought.
Yeah, well, I mean, you just don't see it, right? Like it's it's pretty unique and it's pretty special. And then to see the jump that he took from the end of last season, where it was borderline not making the postseason roster, I feel like. I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but to being the opening day starter and filling up the zone with 103 and a couple secondary offerings that he's also throwing for strikes. It's been pretty wild to watch. It's also been wild to watch the mental growth and the maturity aspect of it. Like I don't necessarily think last year he realized how special his talent was. And I think he's kind of getting to a place this year where he kind of knows it. And so that's been pretty cool to see how he's kind of handled everything. And it's been fun to watch.
This is another like kind of cliche question that I'm sure you've been asked about him, but also, this is not something you actually get to experience very often because nobody's reaching base. But when you're playing first base, for the few people that are getting on, and also, what's the view there? Maybe you understand the extension, how far down he's getting the mound. Like, what is the experience of actually playing behind him to the side of him? And how people are, if people are reaching base, are they like, excuse me?
Yeah, everybody that gets on base is a little bit rattled by what the fastball looks like, I think. And
or maybe like the next day, right? If you see in the series,
yeah. Everybody has something to say about it. I think, and I think that's something that's cool about our game is like in the middle of competition, like this guy's blowing everybody's doors off, and guys that he's competing against are taking the time to say like that's special, right?
Yeah.
Like in the heat of battle, and so that's pretty cool. Playing first base behind him, it can be borderline boring at times where it's almost like he gets to like 15 pitches in an inning and you're like, all right, what are we doing, man? Like this is taking way too long, dude. Like, let's wrap this up, But yeah. And then just seeing it from the side, I'm glad he's on our team. I'm glad I don't have to worry about it, game plan for it, whatever. I got a taste of it during our bye in the playoffs last year where I got to face him a couple times. that wasn't fun, especially at like, I don't know what time it was. It had to be like 11 in the morning and like nobody's on the field. Nobody's in the stands. And this guy's just whizzing 100 right by you. You're like, I'm not mentally prepared for this right now. But yeah, no, super, super exciting guy to be on the field behind.
Now, that said, you and the Miz do have something in common, and that is that you have both gotten Aaron Judge out.
Yeah.
Jake Bauers, we will finish with this. Now, this is no longer really your problem because, you know, you're slugging 500. You're one of the best hitters in the National League. And I don't think Murph's going to ask you to get up on the hill and take one for the team here.
Hey, you never know. You never know.
But maybe, and you're a team guy. So who's to say? That said, while I did know, I like asking guys who position player pitch, like what that's like. 9 times is a lot of times. I mean, you really went out there.
It got up there quick, yeah.
You did. All with the Brewers, right? So none this season, of course. But as I mentioned, you did get Aaron Judge out. And that out was memorable. First of all, I don't know if you know this, probably doesn't surprise you. That's the hardest ball you've ever allowed. the line out.
I'm not shocked. Yeah, not shocked.
Against Aaron Judge, a former teammate. Of course, you played with him in 2023. But what's your just general position player pitching philosophy? When you first got called to do it, because you had never done it in the minor leagues, I don't know how much you pitched in high school or anything, but the first time you did it in 24, all the way to getting Aaron Judge out last year, you even notched a couple of strikeouts. I mean, what's that been like? Not that you're hoping to do it but any more time soon, but yeah.
So I might be a little sick in the head with this, but like when I get on the mound, I'm thinking about getting guys out. Like I want to get them out. I know obviously but like the way I think about it is like, all right, I'm going to run this fastball.
Oh, you're thinking sequencing. You're actually thinking like, how am I going to get him out?
How am I going to get this guy out?
That definitely makes you different. I do think.
And so like I said, I don't know, maybe I'm a little sick in the head, but I have like this little like air seam shifted cutter thing that like I'll throw up and in at like 75. Who knows if it's actually doing anything? But then I'll drop like a curveball off of that. But I'm not going to be the guy that's lobbing it at 40. Because I think if I could put...
You were, at the very beginning, you did have a couple like that. But
yeah, and I realized that wasn't going to work. I was like, I have to throw this ball. Like, I have to throw it. And so I think that if I can throw a ball at like 75 and place it up and in, that like I can get a pop out. Because like it's tough. Like, it's tough to time up, especially something like that where you're like, I don't really want to go get it. Like I have to let it come to me, but then it's up and in and it's still like kind of flat. So like you also still kind of have to go. So I think it would surprise guys a little bit. And I think I got a lot of like foul ball pop-ups that way.
And that's what I didn't look your experience hitting against position players pitching. I guess I could have done that.
It's probably not very good.
Okay,
that's not a fun situation.
No, of course, as you know. So you kind of feel like you have. That's like the reverse of what you said earlier about not giving big leaguers too much credit. Who's got the pressure on them?
I would rather face Miz than a position player. Let's put it that way.
That is a hot take, but I see what you're getting at. But hey, just credit to you. Got a couple strikeouts, an ERA of 4 in 9 innings, which is pretty
not bad,
good,
right?
And never allowed a homer. And just to bring it back to that Judge one, I know it's not a fond memory though. He had 3 homers already in that game, and when he came up, everyone's like, "This is it. This is the 4-homer Judge game."
Yeah,
Jake Bauers said, "Not so fast."
So that was funny, man. That was funny because he was walking to the plate, and we made eye contact before he stepped in the box, and I was like pointing at my ribs like this, like I was going to hit him in the ribs, and then dropped like a first pitch curveball on him. And I got him to like top spin it to the left fielder. And so that was pretty funny. I think I was the only one who got him out that day.
Yeah. Top spin was key because 108 exit velo. Yeah. I mean,
I wasn't keeping it off the barrel. I was well aware that ball was getting barreled.
Hey, not a homer. That's all that counts.
Sure.
Jake Bauers, we hope to see you back on the field soon. This was an absolute pleasure. It's been so cool to see your career unfold and see what's next for you in the mighty Milwaukee Brewers. Thank you, sir. We'll do this again soon.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Right back at you, man.